Hello everybody, my name is Caddy Wimpus. I make circuit tutorials on YouTube. I'm here to help people out with our lovely welcome mats that we use right back here. The welcome mats are used to spawn people into rooms if you're coming from another room, another subroom. This is going to be how you indicate where they should spawn in the new subroom. Without further ado, I'm just going to go into the settings, the configure settings, how to connect them together, what the tools on the CV1 board does, and how it links to our room door over here, which our special guest that isn't a welcome mat. Let's get into that now. I'm going to throw you over here to my desk. Alright, join me over here at my desk cam. I have my two welcome mats here. I'm going to explain what both do, their configure tools, but first, before anything, let me explain the directions and how to get it to spawn you in the correct side of your room. So we have the welcome mat CV1, just says welcome on the front. There's no arrow indicator. You want to be able to read the sign welcome from the direction you're pointing it in. Imagine if you were putting a welcome mat in front of your real door. The side that faces forward that allow you to actually read it was going to be the side that you spawn on. So for instance, I can read welcome if I look this way. That means that I'm going to spawn on top of the welcome mat looking this way. If I spin it around, so then I can read it over this way, that means I'm going to spawn this way. Pretty complicated, I know, words are hard, but CV2 goes to fix this. Now we have a mat with an arrow on it. That just means that, there is my studio. That just means that wherever this points, as long as it's laying flat on the ground, the person is going to spawn in relation to the pad. So if I throw this on the ground, arrow is facing this way, that means I'm going to spawn on top of the pad, and I'm going to face this way. Nice and simple. Alright, now that we've specified how the directions work with these pads, let's go into our configure settings. I'm going to go with CV2 first, as it is a lot more complicated, but CV1, you'll find, is also not very complicated. They have about the same amount of circuits, but CV2 is a little bit harder to explain. So let's first go to our maker pen. We're going to press configure, and we're going to go onto the welcome mat. I named this one Jumpy because we want to be able to specify the names. Of course, Jumpy is a random name. You can name your welcome mats accordingly if you just want it to be called welcome mat, if you want to have it only be one in a room and you don't want to specify between multiple. You don't have to name it. Just chuck it down, put it in the direction you want it, and then it'll go there. But we have mine as Jumpy. Below that, we have the spawn radius. You can change the radius. You can see as I go up and down, the radius of it changes. This is just the radius that people can fill when they spawn into the room. It will spawn in this general area. If you'd like it to be exactly correct, it will spawn. You turn that down to this little circle. It'll spawn in a little circle. It'll be at a nice exact point. The last thing we have on the menu here is our isDefault chip. Turn that on. It is going to be the default one if there is not any other specified welcome mats in the room. Say you have 5 welcome mats. None of them are specified for what you're doing when you join the room. If this is default, that means that you're going to spawn here. If it's not default, you will need another specification as to where you're going to spawn from the prior room or wherever you came from. I'll get into that with the room door over there soon, but for right now, just try to keep that in mind, that as long as it's checked as default, you're going to come here without any other specifications. Scroll down, and we have a lot of the rest of the regular circuit stuff. I'm going to bring this over the camera so you can see the circuit board. So if I go to connect tool right next to configure tool, I can look at all this stuff. We have set enabled, enabled, set enabled, and enabled on either side. Set enabled just says that this is going to be the enabled welcome mat, and I could also change this to true or false, depending if I want it to be enabled. True will mean that this is enabled. When somebody joins the room, they will be able to spawn here. If I turn it to false, that means that somebody is not going to be able to spawn here, and this welcome mat is going to be ignored for all the new people joining the room. Set enabled is a button that allows me to connect things to it that will be able to set this as enabled true or false. So if I have this as true, and I have it set enabled by default, I can press a button, it'll set the enabled to true, and it'll allow me to join the room based off of a button, and I can disable that with the same button. On the other side, set enabled over here is just what happens when you have it set enabled, just another double path circuit. And enabled over here is a condition. The condition is going to be able to go into your if chips and your other conditional chips. So if this is enabled, it'll check the status on this, if it's true or false, and it'll give that to an if chip or a condition accordingly. we have our CV1 one. This one's a little more simple, as it doesn't have any extra circuits, so most of the things are built into its configure menu. We're going to go to the configure tool on our maker pen, little purple one. Click on the welcome mat, and then this is the menu you're going to see pop up. Try to adjust this to get into frame here. All right, so the room name, you're going to specify the room that you come from on the actual name. You will not be attaching this to a room directly with CV2, just like we did before. We can adjust this room name. If I want to add it to be my classroom, VAA, class room. Means that now, if there is a door, I can specify that it's going to come to this welcome mat in this room. So that means that it's going to come from VAA to here. Down below that, link to subroom. You can link that to a prior subroom. So if I'm going to come from, say, point A to point B, this is point B. It says link to subroom. This is going to be where you spawn when you come from point A. And below that is our color, basic interactions, all the stuff like that. All right, I'm back. I went and switched out the controller in my... I switched out the battery in my controller, and I switched out the put a cord in my headset. All right, back to the tutorial. So the next thing we're gonna be talking about is the room door here. Oh, Caddy Wumpus, you've already made a room doors tutorial. Well, yeah, I have, but welcome mats fit into room doors pretty well. There's an extra setting that I'd like to talk about when specifying welcome mats to you here. Go down to tools, go down to configure, click on the room door. You're gonna see this funny little menu pop up. I can see that we have, again, local motion collision. You can specify the room, of course. If I want to have this room this door take me to VAA classroom, which is my classroom, I can do that. I can specify the specific subroom. There are multiple subrooms in that room. I could do that, but I could also specify the welcome mat. There are multiple welcome mats in that room. If I want to choose the place the place that they're going to spawn at from this door, I could do that. I don't have any welcome mats in there. I think I'll set up a little tutorial here. All right. So I'm in a separate room that I'm going to specify down to my in my studio room. So first I'm going to go onto my configure tool. I'm going to scroll down here, click on each one, and I'm going to name them different things. Let's name this one 1. Name this one 2. And name this one 3. Oh, doesn't get a name actually. It's 3. There we go. Now this one's 1. This one's 2. This one's 3. This one's on the left side, middle, and right side. Officially made it back to my wonderful studio, and if you could see, I spawned at the welcome mat. I spawned in the general radius of this welcome mat, as if I go to my configure tool, this one's set as default, so that means that this is going to be the default one that I spawn at. I'm going to delete this now as I don't really need it, but where's my room door at? I will need a room door. Oh, room door. Thank you. Alright, so here's the room door. I'm going to press figure, click on there. Let's link to the room. Ready? VAA test. Success, it's been linked to there. Subroom, just going to change that to home. And welcome mat. You will see I have 1, 2, and 3. 1 was on the left, 2 was in the middle, 3 was on the right. So if I want to go to the right one, I want to go to here, press on that, click on this. I'm not going to save it because I don't need to. And when I go into this room, I should spawn on the welcome mat to the right. Yep, there we go. Spawn onto there with the welcome mat on the right. But we have our different labels of welcome mats. You choose the one you want, and it'll spawn you at the welcome mat. Make sure you name them as if they're all just called welcome mat. It's going to be hard to differentiate between them. So make sure you change them to maybe welcome mat 1, welcome mat 2, welcome mat 3. Or like jumpy like I had for mine. And that's all the rest of that stuff. Alright, I hope that tutorial helped. I helped explain room doors and how they link to the welcome mats as well, so I know there's a little bit to unpack there. I would rewatch it if you don't understand. I'm sure there are tutorials that are probably better than mine on YouTube. If you want to go look up welcome mat tutorial, you probably figure that out with other tutorials, but I hope I explained it well enough with mine. I hope you learned something new, and again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to help me wire it into your own circuits, you can put it down in the comments. I'll help you out as much as I can, as I'm only one person. Thank you very much for watching my tutorial, and I hope you learned something new. Bye-bye.